Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The race starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
It is Tuesday night, time for the Midwest Motorsports iRacing League GT4 season number 7 to get underway. Welcome, everybody. I'm James J. This is the Midwest Motorsports iRacing League GT4 season opener at Circuit Navarra. An amazingly challenging track, 16 corners, and look out, it is raining after qualifying. I believe we're going to have a wet start, and we're going to go green for 60 minutes tonight to begin the first of a 16 race season in the GT4 League. 2.7 miles in the 16 turn track. Lots of multi apex corners. I have no idea what we're going to see, but I do know that we're going to have a lot of fun. There are 33 cars tonight. That's not including the safety car, which I hope we don't use, but you never know. Just in case, Josh Watt is ready to run. I'm James J. once again. Thanks to everybody for joining us. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us a follow. Jay McNeely, in his return, triumphant return, has put it on the pole position in the Porsche. Logan Bowl in his first race with Midwest Motorsports puts it on the front row. Brian Coxon, Michael Odell, share row 2. Sam Hubbard wraps out the top 5. Once again, we're going to go green for 1 hour. We'll go through the rest of the field. Qualifying, we have 2 divisions, pros and AM. Sam Hubbard and John Daniels in the AM division qualified 6th and 7th. So who knows what we're going to see. I know we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go green for 60 minutes. So that means you never know what's going to happen. But I do know that the pace car is pulling off. At the pit entries, we got one more corner at least before we head onto the front straight and get this race underway. But once again, thanks to everybody for joining us as they round the final corner. 33 cars are underway, and we're green. Your pole sitter takes off. That would be Shay McNeely. Down into turn 1, being pushed from behind. Here we go into turn 1. A very fast right-hander kink. Then another right-hander. Remember, all 4 X's will be reviewed on the first lap. So hopefully we get a clean start. Pouring down rain. You can see the cars roll through turns 3 and 4. Headed now to a short chute before a carousel. Turns 5, 6. Then a hard switch back to the right for turn 7. As Michael Odell and Logan Boyle are going at it for third. Jay McNeely has checked out. Michael Odell in the red and white BMW, right behind Brian Coxon. And then behind them, Sam Hubbard and John Daniels as the cars continue to file down. Back into another tight braking zone for turn 9. All clear for Shay McNeely. Michael Odell's in a red and white BMW now. Logan Bowl, your P2 qualifier, has lost 2 positions on the start, but you can see the spray. Absolute madness in the rain. Michael Odell goes around the outside at the end as we approach the last few corners of the first lap. This is just lap 1. Did not get alongside him before turn 16. Now he goes around the outside of the final corner, taking the wet line. Brian Coxon overcooks it. And second place now, Michael Odell. Third place, Logan Boyle is looking to get inside Brian Coxon for third as they race down turn 1. And that's just 1 lap, folks. Jay McNeely is making his triumphant return. Great lead already. Sam Hubbard pokes out, making a look. Oh, Michael Odell overshoots turn 2 as we head into turn 3 as the corner continues to tighten. Michael Odell misjudged his braking zone in the rain. If you did not get rain practice, you're definitely going to show. Those that have done their homework, I'd say Shea McNeely has definitely done his homework. As once again, I'm James J, and it looks like somebody just walked in.
He's just a dipshit, you know? I mean,
Who's this? Is that Aaron? Aaron Holroyd. Welcome to the club, man. Thanks for making it up to the booth. Circuit Navarro in the rain, man. How you doing?
Good, yeah. I was catching about halfway through the first lap and catching up with what was going on. And I don't know if you caught it, but we had a little accident towards the end of that very last turn, turn 15. We had Walker McNulty and David Stark getting into it. Somebody was facing backwards, and then now I'm seeing Rick Bundren. He's crashed. Not sure how accurate that is, but he's down in P31. So had an instant pull up in the first lap. So it's gonna be something to go back and check and see what happened with those two. Again, being Walker McNulty and David Stark at the end of the very first lap.
I would love to. I don't think I have access to instant replays unless we rewind all the way. Let's see what happened to Rick Bundren here as he's coming up on lap 14 and 15. Closing out the lap. Left-hand kink before the final turn 16. Oh, it just goes off and spins around. That may not have been 15 and 16. That looks like it might have been turn 13. It's all good. He straightens it back out.
Yep, now I'm getting poor Josh Blum. He's dropping down the field as well. He's lost 7 spots, 8, 9, 10. So he just had his up and off as well. Guys are going to get heavy use, a heavy knowledge of the rain here coming up soon. I ran this track when it first came out with the Ferraris, and we had a much heavier downpour, but it is no easy picking, to tell you that much. It is a tricky track with a lot of 90-degree turns. All the waters just sit right on the inside of those turns, so drivers are going to be extra cautious from going through them until that dry line forms if we get a let up in the rain.
I think there was also Logan Boyle there on the inside. No, it was. Yes, it was. He was off track all on his own. That's Josh Bloom going around. Logan Boyle's finally straightened it out here. Let's see what happened to him. Again, this weather throwing curveballs for everybody. And he was your second row qualifier. Here he is. He's in 4th place currently, following Michael Odell. Logan Boyle is the blue and black Porsche. And just putting on the power. So far, so good. When it really tightens up and just gets on power. And even though these cars have traction control, it doesn't help you much when there's no grip. Yeah, we're back live.
I think we keep trying to catch replays. We're gonna miss a lot of stuff that's happening live. So it's gonna be going to be something to figure out with this new series when we start getting some replays back. We have one of our producer guys step out for the evening, so bear with us as these guys are testing limits now. I mean, they haven't ran their rain in a series race yet, so they're trying to figure out their cars and how they're going to handle it, especially on a new track for most of these guys. This track just came out, I believe, at the beginning of this rain patch, so new track and new rain abilities. So we have to be patient and figure out how to run this course and just try to watch the action live as we can, and come back and check out some footage later on.
Yeah, thanks for that. Good point. Our thoughts are with Adam. He's having a family emergency tonight, so we're all thinking about you, Adam. You get to watch the stream later on. We wish you were here. Definitely, it's more important what you're working on, man. We care about you, and we're thinking about you, Adam. Michael Odell trying to figure out how to get around Brian Cox, and you can see the force feedback as he aquaplanes the steering wheel, jerks out of his hands, nice and smooth. Counter steering, locking up, under braking, trying to tighten it up around this long carousel, turn 5, 6, and 7. It tightens up on the exit, and then a switch back to the right. Brian Coxon might have the inside line on the exit, and there he is. As they head back towards turn 8, a hard right-hander. Down a long back stretch to turn 9. Another passing zone. Look behind Michael Odell. That's Sam Hubbard. Pouring rain. Sam Hubbard going to pop out. Not this time. And John Daniels right behind him. So Sam Hubbard, first place in the AM division right now. John Daniels also the amateur right behind him. So these AMs are definitely hanging up here with the pros. Sam Hubbard looks inside, threatens again. He's not going to force a move. I think Sam Hubbard knows how the Midwest Motorsport League works. He wants everybody to have a good time while we're racing. See, we got more tight battles.
Yeah, pay attention to these guys too, especially when we get the inboard cams. You're going to see when we're riding along with Michael Odell, you saw Brian Coxon taking all those 90s and 180s. He was taking them all fairly wide, trying to stay out of that inside water lane. And Odell was kind of cutting it a little bit tighter. So with that happening, he was, Odell was going into the water, which caused an aquaplaning effect. And also, but while he's running a tighter line, he has more of the chance of sliding out when these guys are taking these nice wide apexes now, trying to get the outside line more dried up. Since the outside will dry up more, especially in those turns where they're cambered more towards the corner. They're going to have more chance of the outside drying up before the inside, and then eventually they'll start working their way down once it gets more dry.
Especially with 33 cars working to spray the water out off the racing surface. I think we're going to get a faster drying track than we saw in the preseason race at Daytona when there were only 11 cars trying to dry out the track. So 33 cars on the track. Remember, we're going to have one pit stop. The pit window opens usually about 20 minutes in as Mauricio Parada is blinking there. See if we can ride with CJ Barzak instead and watch this tight battle here for 6th through 9th.
Yeah, going back earlier, Sam Hubbard actually is going to be the 4th place car in the pros now. I was remembering back when he was here 2 seasons ago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he might have won the amateur season. He was supposed to move up, skipped the last season, so Sam Hubbard, I believe, is going to be staying in pro now after talking with Josh about it. So currently you got John Daniels, who's kind of running away from the rest of his amateur buddies. So you got Taylor Montague, who's the next closest driver, sitting down P14. So he's gonna, if it finishes how it does now, which is very unlikely since there's a lot of chances for accidents to happen, John Daniels would have a very substantial lead leaving round 1.
It's a great battle here for P2 in the amateurs.
Taylor Montague just in front of, I believe that's Jack Lucas and David Stark, and Dan Gish is just behind those guys. So yeah, Dan Gish in 3rd place, looking to try to put a move up here and catch up to Taylor Montague. Have to start getting used to all these guys in their new cars now. They have a bunch of different paint schemes.
You read my mind. I was just about to say not only the manufacturer swaps for some guys, but also new paint jobs. So bear with us while we get familiar with everybody's paint and livery, but I'm glad to see a 33-car field. I'm really excited about this season. Again, we're going to have 16 races to find a new champion. Last year's champion, Jason Phillips, not doing so hot in this race. I know this is not his favorite track. He's made no bones about that in the Road Series driver chat. So he has a manufacturer change going to a McLaren. Once again, last year's champion, Jason Phillips.
Last
way
year's
down
road
here in 19th overall.
check that off. He's going to get 18th after Dan Gish goes for a
18th.
little detour. Taking care of some nice Midwest Motorsports landscaping duties here at Navarro. Not much
right.
landscaping to do here. It's a desert track, so whatever greenway they have, Dan Gish is going to be all over that.
Yep. I'm sure we'll get a bill, or maybe we'll wait for him to send us an invoice. It's all good. Back up front, Michael Odell, Brian Coxon still racing for that top spot. John Daniels in third with a nice German-looking paint job there.
Yeah, I wonder between Shea McNeely and Brian Coxon, these two guys are both college roommates. They are legitimately racing in the same room. And if I'm not mistaken, Brian Coxon, I believe, got some help from Shea with the steering stuff. So these guys, I mean, I at least hope they're talking a little bit trash to each other while they're racing.
Catch me if you can.
That's right. I'll play cat, you play mouse.
Right? Maybe they're talking about strategy to figure out if the track is going to continue to dry or if we're going to stay wet. We're just now past the 13-minute mark or coming up on the 13-minute mark.
Do we have? I'm just wondering off note. Do we have an actual telemetry that shows the amount of wetness or rain?
Not
Is
on screen, not on any overlay, only race info, but not the amount of
okay.
moisture on the track surface.
I know. I know. Like in the
In-game.
in game, you
Yeah.
can see the level of wet, and if it's. I mean, obviously, you can see if it's continuing to rain. It doesn't appear to be raining now, but that might have been something that was up there. Some rain. Just kidding.
I don't see any new sprinkles on the windshield. I do see blue sky in between the gray clouds. So I don't see any new moisture on the windows, although those clouds look pretty dark. We're looking out of Michael Odell's windshield from third place.
Yeah, I think we're getting hit with section. I think there's sections of the track. I'm not sure if the Tempest update has that much knowledge. I don't know if it's more of a certain areas or certain parts of the track can get wet. Like if it's a whole, east side of the track will stay wet, the west side won't. I'm not sure if they got that far into the rain process or if it's just a general whole cloud sits over the entire racetrack and then goes away.
Right. My understanding is there is a radar that's active and it moves across the track. So certain sections of the track might get rain and certain sections might be in bright sun.
Okay.
I've been wrong before.
So yeah, coming back from Josh, he's saying that certain areas of the track can get wet. So I guess turn 1, 2, and 3 will get sun before the rest of the track. So that's what his radar is showing, and of course he's in game, so he can pop those things up and see them himself. So, look, I'm not sure which way the track faces. I'd actually be interested in knowing which way it actually faces.
As far as west.
Yeah, as far as if, I mean, looking at the map, it's the west side of the track, but who knows if that's
North is turns 1, 2, and 3,
okay.
according to Wikipedia's map anyway.
So the north end, so they're getting a bunch of rain down the south end of the track, which is mainly two-thirds of the track's getting rained on.
Yep. More returning drivers. Francis Faustino is back. Good to see Francis. He's been a top 10 contender all of the races last season. Like Walker McNulty's making a move after earlier chaos, getting around Justin Thaler. So for Walker McNulty to be out on lap 1, to be all the way up to P10 right now.
Yep.
You say Walker got in some argy-bargy earlier in the race that I might have missed, Aaron?
Yeah, he got in the RG bar. It showed him and David Stark in the beginning getting into Walker McNulty crash, David Stark crash, and McNulty crash again. I did see one car facing the wrong way, so I'm not sure if it was more of a bump and then somebody crashed and he might have slightly spun out. But just looking at, I mean, it's hard to tell this time to tell. We got a lot of red popping up, so
Right.
It could just be people literally spinning 180 degrees and turning themselves around. So it's hard to identify what the actual crash is because as long as it's a 2x that's, contact somewhere or loss of control, it's going to pop up.
David Stark here, hunting down Jack Lucas just in front of him. This is Jack Lucas's first race with Midwest Motorsports, so we're glad to have you, Jack. Welcome to the club. Logan Boyle sure is fast after spinning earlier. He's working his way back through the field. He was all the way back in 33rd, and now he's back up to 16th with the spin. Logan's going to be a contender this season, I have a feeling. No change up front. We're not missing anything. Tim Hubbard's trying to get back around John Daniels, but at the same time, John Daniels is in a completely different division, so Sam Hubbard's only lost points. Justin Glickner having a great showing here in P6, just outside the top 5. Glickner's been putting in some work in between racing seasons, so I expect for him to have a good season as well. Mauricio Parada, this is his first season. Welcome to the club, Mauricio.
Getting words, Josh Blum, one of the big contenders from last season, is retired from the race.
Oh no.
Just at the end, I believe it was just at the end of the last lap because he got 7.99 laps in, so around turn 15, he just decided to call it after that. I'm not sure how significant of a crash was. Maybe he hit that pit entry area, but looks like right there.
Oh yeah, there it is. Come on,
right
Cameron.
near the entry.
Sorry.
Yeah, right next to the pit entry. So this is where I saw the accident earlier with Dan, I believe it was Dan. Yeah, David and Walker. So see how significant it was. I know it's hard when you want to take all the entry, the turn, and exit, but getting on that paint is no easy feat, especially when it's wet. And already slick surface just gets more slicker. She goes out on the paint into that water, spins it, and
Stays out of the way. Good for him. Little 4X in the barrier. Oh, he just parked
just
it.
calls it.
Oh man. Oh, it's his prerogative. I mean, lots of racing left, so anything could happen. But we'll say goodbye to Josh Bloom for now. I'm sure he'll be back. He's one of those checkers or wreckers kinds of guys. We'll go back racing live now. As Bridges spins, right as we cut back to him, the broadcaster's curse strikes again. Oh, coming down, you can see the track. At least the sun poking its head through. This downhill left-hand kink before pit in, and just the rear end swaps positions. Brake bias, maybe, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't think he was anticipating the turn being exactly a turn. It looked like he tried to make more of a sweep turn into like maybe the straightaway. So he might have caught him off guard from what turn he thought he was coming into, and then at the last second, was like, I need to turn sharper, and then that didn't work very well. This track is very easy to make the mistake. I know coming into from turn 4 to turn 5, you think turn 6 is another big sweeper, but it's not. It's almost like a 160-degree bank turn, so that's hard as well. And we got Brian Sartan now into the wall. Rocking the big. Oh, he took himself a little spin cycle.
Yeah. You need some dishwashing detergent or some Tide laundry detergent, especially in this wet weather. Oh, yeah, he's power sliding early into the barrier. Full spin. extra points. I give that about a 6.5. Not bad, but he straightens it back out. He's got it going the right direction.
So it looks like we got some blue clouds up here in turn 1, 2, and 3. So the northern half of the track is out of clouds. So we might start seeing some of that sunshine poking through and get some dry areas of this track now. You can kind of see that line developing as drivers race over the same surface over and over again. You'll start to see more defined lines of where they're running. You got these guys coming in here. Notice how they're all kind of taking that same line, trying to avoid the mist that's coming out of them while also keeping the speed relatively close to them.
With wet weather tires, if you're not going to take tires, put on dries. We'll see when it comes down to it. It'll probably stay out as long as you can until, and then make a decision if you want to switch over to slicks. It's definitely not dry conditions right now, but I don't think there's any moisture being added to the track. Guru misses the apex under braking, but really you could try to find a little extra traction, with the all the rubber being put down on the racing line, and then the oils from the cars going right over the racing line in dry condition. That's what you want, but it makes it for a real slick surface when there's any water on there. So a lot of times we'll try to put two wheels in the wet line to try to find more grip and get off of that wet rubber slick zone. But stay off the curbs there, Nick. We've seen what happens, how easily it can go wrong. As Dustin Reinstedel made a switch to Mercedes, still running number 11 FedEx. Thank you for that, Dustin. You can recognize who it is.
I recognize who it is, but it also looks very similar to the guy right in front of him, Dan Gish. They're both running very similar paint schemes.
One's they're really trying to throw us off.
I'm sorry, that wasn't Dan Gish. Yeah, it is Dan. Oh!
It is.
Double spin cycle behind Dan Gish as both Ryan Stidle and Aslan do that was a pirouette spin behind both of them, lined up like they're figure skaters.
It is the Olympic season, maybe they're trying out for synchronized spins. That was crazy. That's
synchronized spins in Mercedes.
Yeah.
Slippery track, slippery surface, coming in a little too hot. They might have gotten some bravery noticing that sun's poking out. Thought they can go a little bit tighter or a little bit harder than they actually could. But we're going to see both of them lose it simultaneously at the same time.
This is that turn 1, 2, and 3 section. They're both two right-hand kinks and you're on the brakes trying to slow down to the hard turn 3. And here they come. They're both kind of drifting.
Here's a counter from Dustin.
Oh, this is great.
Let's see who's that we're looking at. So that's Aston. Aston locked it down more than Ryan Stidle did. So he was kind of able to keep his car more straight at least. And Ryan Stidle doing almost a complete 180 compared to Aslan's about 60-degree spin.
And Aslan's going to get the spot over Dustin, who finally gets it together. And Aaron Mitchell right behind almost gains another spot, but he's got his eyes open.
That's nice seeing a couple. We have a little grip of BMWs. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the board. So 5 BMWs, 6 McLarens, and another curb stomper for John Aslan. Taking that turn a little too tight. Might have been losing the front end a little bit. Yep, just gets down that paint, loses the back end, and decides to take a little bit of a shortcut, try to keep it off Aaron Mitchell, who I'm sure saw the whole mirror fill up with the Napa car and like, please don't hit me.
As that turn 5, 6, and 7 switchback area. But pretty good save there by John Aslan, to be honest, all things considered. No change up front. Jay McNeely, Brian Cox, and Michael Odell. Yeah, Sam Hubbard has got around John Daniels.
We say we have Sam Hubbard and John Daniels staying pretty close to to Michael Odell, so these guys are not too far spread out now. I believe we have a lap car in between them. That would be, I believe it's the 66 of Brian Sartan, if I'm looking correctly, the first car that's a lap down. So Kevin Bridges, Aaron Mitchell, and Rick Bundren, as well as Norm Center, they've come in for their pits.
Wow.
So a couple of
A little
guys
bit
pitting
early, as
out.
soon as the pit window opened, they decided to come in. Sorry,
Yeah,
Aaron, didn't mean to step on you there.
I could tell you this. I could tell you this much. I could never figure out when the track was dry enough to do a swap to the dry tires, because you still had sections that were just too wet. And I mean, I had guys I was racing with who were just lighting it up 3 seconds faster than me on dry tires. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing it. I got half the track wet and I cannot maintain anything even on wets.
And if you do decide to stay on wets, can you go all the way? As the leader has a spinner in front of him, a lap car. I believe that's Norm. He was trying to get out of the way the best he could, but it just so happened he was right in front of Shea McNeely, your leader. And that allows everybody to go through. You won't miss anything. We'll watch from the replay
That
for a
was
while,
Steve
but
Hansel.
Steve, oh man, that's a bummer. Of course, it wasn't intentional, but we're riding with the leader now. At a 2-second lead, and just sees us sideways. Steve Hansel right in front. Ryan Coxon goes by, John Aslin, Sam Hubbard, Michael Odell. From first to fifth, just like that for Shea McNeely. Justin Glickner now gets a sniff of Shea McNeely's rear end.
Hey, what?
If you
Somebody's
can,
putting on a tear right now. You got Logan Bull. He's about a second, almost a half faster than anybody else on the track. So Logan's sitting down P13 right now. He's putting in some time, and if he gets out some clean air soon, everybody's gonna have to figure out their pit strategy. To if you pit too early, you're gonna come out in more traffic. If you pit too late, you can take the wet tires. All of a sudden, the track dries up. Now you're kind of in no man's land. You see the nice dry line coming down the straightaway. These guys are still throwing water, but you can see the wear is coming on the track now. The nice defined line that these guys are taking because of turn 1, 2, 3 being in the sun now.
still think it's way too wet to risk going to dries now. You got about 10 more minutes left on their fuel tank. I don't remember anybody going beyond 40 minutes, 40 minutes. As Logan Boyle looks inside of Jesse Coffey here. Logan Boyle started on the front row, had a spin on his own, no contact, but now he's made his way back through the field, all the way up to P12, and moving forward now, looking ahead for Justin Thaler, the next victim on Logan Boyle's list. But Logan Boyle seems to be a master in the wet conditions here. Really unfortunate. I think he'd be up there fighting with the leaders.
Yeah, earlier in
If
practice, he was in the top part of the leaderboard, so he just got squeezed out by the guys who finished in front of him. But he's going to be a strong contender this season. One of the higher IR ratings. He's near the top half at least. So he knows his way around a track, putting in the time with the C license, but he's got plenty of rating for these cars, so I'm sure he drives his cars fairly often and started putting the time with them. I'm not sure his background in iRacing or how long he's been doing it yet. I'll try to see if we get some more information on the new drivers as they come in, making sure everybody feels welcome here and introductions for who they are.
that's right. Speaking of coming in, also coming out, there's a traffic jam ahead of the leaders coming out of the pits.
Oh boy.
For Shea McNeely, so your leaders, Brian Cox and Sam Hubbard, got around Michael Odell. Looks like they made it through some of that lap traffic. Did they pull over and let everybody go? Good driving, but Sam Hubbard under braking goes really wide. Try to save it, Sam. Great save. He was offline. Michael Odell flings it sideways in that turn 5, 6, and 7 section. Through 8 now, the right-hander now. Oh, I thought that was 8. I'm just as unfamiliar with this track as a lot of the iRacers were when they started. So
Yeah, I believe this is turn 9 they're coming up to right now.
okay, I
So
wasn't far
I
off
believe you're
then.
right. Let's see if this nice long right sweeper, and it should be coming up to a left-hander fairly shortly. Yep. So yeah, you're right. That was turn 8. So now
Almost
they're
a
turn
half
11,
in.
11 and 12.
Sweet.
You know your way around here. You got it. You're a master. You're
I don't know about that,
on.
but I'm having a great time. I'm learning just like everybody else. Hey, Aaron, thanks again for joining me tonight, man. I'm having a real good time. It's going to be a great season 7 in the GT4 Road Series at Midwest Motorsports. You're not going to want to miss it. Stick around every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. We're
Yeah, I mean, we got a big field right now. We got 33 cars. We're looking forward to see if we can keep most of these drivers in here. We got our familiars and some new faces. We see these new guys want to hang out with us a little bit longer and make this league grow. It's been growing constantly, so it's always nice to see these guys come in and watch them race hard. And as you're seeing now, you're watching Sam Hubbard trying to get to the back of Michael Dell a little faster than he thought he was. Now it's getting to that crunch time where you're at the 33-minute mark. These guys are gonna start peeling off here pretty soon. The first person to come in now is Logan Bull, so he pits in from P13 to come get himself a fresh gas and new tires, and we'll see what he puts in or where he comes out in relative to traffic. But the more these guys fight up front, the better it looks for the guys at the back, and these guys are fighting in tough conditions.
drying track is definitely probably the toughest conditions these guys will see when it's mixed between cooling your tires off, getting a little moisture on them, and then back to the dry line. 2 wheels in the dry line, 4 wheels in the dry line. I'm sorry, in the wet line for Sam Hubbard there. There's a little bit of ebb and flow, but Dave McNeely's worked his way around John Daniels now. Your pole sitter, currently P4, trying to figure out how to at least maintain pace after getting caught up with the lap car just a few laps ago.
And Hubbard back with his little inside move. He tried to put that on last time with Michael Adele here in turn 15. He tries to do it again in turn 13. So Hubbard's feeling a little bit more brave in these inside lines. You're going to see a lot of the guys on the straightaways, at least, they're going to be going in most of the water. But when they come to the turns, they're going to try to take more dry line to get the better traction coming off. So you're going to watch these guys start fading a little more to the left or right, getting out of the dry line in the straightaways. Keep those tires nice and cool, as you said earlier. We got Jesse Covey back here in 11th place, just behind JT, Justin Taylor. Right in front of them is CJ Barzak.
Yeah, that's not CJ. That's a lap car, BMW. Not sure exactly who it is, but he does a great job of
Oh, that's
getting out
Brian
of the way.
Sartan.
Sartan, thanks, Brian.
Sartan had himself the spin cycle earlier. So there you go. We got Justin Taylor like that. Just like I said, they're going to peel off into the wet. Try to keep those tires nice and cool as they start heating up now.
Beautiful.
These tires perform much better as they are more grooved, have the deeper grooves for when they're in the water to stop the aquaplane, to dispense the water easier. So they want to keep them cooler as long as they can until they start making their pits. Walker McNulty, he has made his pit stop, so Logan Boyle goes in from 13th, comes out 22nd.
Walker McNulty switching to dry tires.
Oh boy. I gotta put that on my column. I see where the tire.
TC Tire Compound.
There it is.
So we'll keep an eye on Walker McNulty's lap times. Another newcomer, Jason Wahlberg, here is doing a great job as he's putting pressure on 5th place Justin Glickner. So his first time out, Jason Wahlberg fighting to get in the top 5. Welcome to Midwest Motorsports, Jason. We see you, buddy.
Yeah, that's not a bad start. Oh, it goes a little bit wide here. Turn 15. Yes, turn 15.
Very cool paint, I must say.
Yeah.
Hard to see any paints, but the
Yeah.
cameras that I got.
If you notice now, our old resident guy, Josh Watts, he put tire compounds on the standing tower now, so you're going to be able to see which one of these top 17 drivers who switched over to dries. Right now, the only person who has switched to dries is Walker McNulty. So the first person that's not a lap down is Logan Boyle, and then Walker McNulty. Those are the only two drivers not a lap down that have pitted. So these guys will start coming in pretty soon. I would imagine within the next lap or two, are coming up to the 40-minute mark. About 2-minute lap times as you got Walker McNulty in the dries. Not sure if he's faring too well. He's losing spots now. Whenever he sees those come back to him later on, he's going to try to make sure he stays in that dry line as much as he can.
He's got to be hard. I'm sure it's hard, difficult for him because he wants to push it. Yeah, it's just not working.
Yeah,
There's
track may
no
not be
grip.
dry enough.
I think that's a sign for the leaders. Stay away from the dries, at least for now. Which means they're going to have to finish the race on the same tires. They could put on a new set of wets, but I don't think, as the leaders now put Walker McNulty a lap down, he's not going to make that time back up.
And the bad news for him too is that with that spin, he just got himself a 15x, so he's gonna have to do a drive-through.
Drive-through.
Then he has to, if he wants to, get tires. So
And you can't change during a drive-through. That's right.
nope. So you have to go back and suffer another lap with the dry tires until he's able to switch those off, which might be in his best interest with where he's at now. He's got two cars behind, 3 cars behind him that he can still stay in front of. 24 cars on the lead lap. Walker McNulty, the last of the 24, is doing his drive-through now. That leaves 24 still. Yeah, Kevin Mayer inherits 24th place. Something happened to Sam Hubbard because I see he lit up red and he's now down in 8th place. Sam Hubbard was up here with those guys and now he's fallen back from the lead pack.
Without a pit stop. Yep. I don't know how much time I want to spend going back to try to find exactly what happened.
Yeah, I hear you.
We'll have to wait maybe for a replay submission, but look at the drying track.
Yeah,
Clearly see now
it's almost
there's
a
a wet
tease.
lane and a dry lane.
It's almost like, hey, we're dry now. You could switch to dries now, and
Right?
it's not there in most of the track. Good looking static shots we have here of the different areas where these guys coming up to the turns. Get a lot of great view of the track. See where these drivers come in. Still, none of these top guys have pit yet. These guys are really pushing it to the end, seeing how much they can get out of these wets, and if they want to go to dries. And not sure how much Walker is passing them. Don't do it.
Yeah, I still
Dangerous.
say no way. But to get them to the last 20 minutes from here, I mean, this is exactly how we wrote it up when they made the schedule. I mean, of course, it's completely random on how the weather works, but it was 50-50 coming into the race. And, from outside looking in, from a fan's perspective, these are the most challenging conditions possible for a driver with regards to not only driving the car, but managing your strategy and managing your tires to get to the end in the best possible position. Okay, you might be able to, again, these guys have not stopped yet. We're past the 40-minute mark, just barely. They've got to be on E.
Yeah. Sam
So,
Hubbard,
and it's
TJ
right at the
Barzak.
crossover point.
Yeah, Sam Hubbard, TJ Barzak, those guys are in Mercedes. They have pit now. So the next Mercedes in front of them would going to be Jason Wahlberg and Mauricio Parada. So depends on the size of the fuel for each car as well. Maybe some cars have a little bit more than the other cars, with them being maybe, I'm not sure how much lighter they are because they have lighter with a little more horsepower. Or I'm sorry, a little less horsepower. So the less horsepower uses less fuel. if my math's mathing right.
Come on, they're all coming up on lap traffic too.
Yeah,
So is now the time to pit? If you stay out, you're gonna have to deal with the lap traffic, which is not gonna help your lap times either. So I think I would choose now, unless I could go, even if I went one more lap. I don't know the advantage, but I'd definitely stay on wets
I
and
wouldn't
just
go
ride it
one
out
more
to
lap
the
with these
end.
guys in front of you. What looks like? Oh no, that's not pit entry.
Jay McNeely looks on the inside of Michael Odell. Doesn't make it happen.
So here's entry. These guys don't go in. So one
No,
car
they
in
stay
front of
out.
these guys do.
Great sportsmanship here. Gray and silver, is that Taylor Montague? Gray and silver Mercedes that just went one lap down.
That might be Austin Shoop or Justin Shoop. I'm sorry.
Justin.
'Cause I thought Taylor Montague was that he's a black car that's in the pits right now.
Yeah, shout out Justin. Thanks, brother. Oops. Francis Faustino comes out of the pits. Yes, it was Justin showing great sportsmanship to let the leaders go. We appreciate you, Justin. Welcome back to Midwest Motorsports for your second season here.
I wonder because of the rain how much these guys were lifting too. These guys might have. A lot of the time when you get in the turns too, especially the sharp ones, you'll upshift faster, so you're using less of the RPMs, which might entail saving a little more fuel because you're upshifting to slow those tires down to keep you from spinning.
Thanks, Ian. We appreciate you pulling over and letting the leaders go by. This is Ian Bacaitis showing some good sportsmanship as well. Say these GT4 drivers in Midwest Motorsports really understand the concept of keeping it clean and running your own race and making sure that everybody has the best chance to get their best finish, including themselves. So the leaders
So
right here, 1, 2, and 3 in your shot.
so it looks like Sam Hubbard went out and got dries, but now he's back into the pits. So I think he tried to venture as well into the dry section. I don't think he liked the lap he did. His last lap was a 2:51, but that was also on the wet tires. Oh, he's coming back out in dries.
And
There
we
you
got
go.
pit stops.
Brian
And Shea
Coxon,
McNeely
Michael
stays
Dell.
out. Shea is going to stay out one more lap. I agree with you 100% about the fuel saving uh, on in wet conditions.
Yeah,
I thought Shea stayed out.
I
Yeah,
think
he's out.
Shea wants to take one more lap where he's got this time to build a gap with these guys and see,
Exactly.
he's going to be on big time empty now on these tires. He wants to use as much as he can to see how much he can gap these guys when they come out in their fresh wet tires. I'm assuming and a heavier tank. It's going to take it wide there. So much lighter this car is. When the car is lighter on the wet, it's going to make it a lot harder to turn. He's counter steering and barely turning it. That thing is skating right now.
He is controlling the power slide around those high speed kinks. Carousel left and kind of diamond off. And a hard right for turn 8.
So brave going on that paint, man. I saw those tires, so I'm just holding my breath like, oh, that's not where I want to be.
Total throttle control. Short shift, aware of your position. Thank you. I believe that was either Francis or Dan Gish pulling over. He gets down to turn 9.
Justin Glickner, another car that decided to stay out. Those two, so you got Justin Glickner, Shane McNeely, Justin Thaler, and Jesse Coffey. Those 4 guys are in Porsches, and those 4 guys have yet to pit. So maybe the Porsche was able to save just that little bit more than the other people around them. John Daniels was the first was the closest Porsche to pit, and he pitted lap 22. So just these last guys. So maybe some of the pro Porsche drivers are able to find an extra lap before they're able to make their pit stop. As we got Shane McNeely, he's diving in now. That's going to hand it to Justin Glickner, who I'm assuming is going to be coming in as well. Yeah, he follows as well. So Brian Coxon should be. We'll see. Pit time. His pit stop time was 15:70, which is going to be a little bit less than what Glickner and Shaley had to do because they took more fuel out.
Yeah, and Odell spent 18 seconds in the pit, so he lost 3 seconds. And there's the distance on the track from Brian Coxon to Michael Odell in the red and white BMW. That's just in the time stopped in the pit lane. So your leader, Brian Coxon, let's see where Jay McNeely comes out in relation to Brian Coxon. I'm trying to get Brian Coxon.
Jay's
Keeps
on his
moving
way
on
out
me.
now. He might just get him passed right here. There he pulls out right there.
There they are. Brian Coxon keeps it. Jay spent 17. So this is Brian Coxon with a 15-second stop. Did he underfill? Did he get enough fuel? Or did the other guys put new wets on? They definitely stayed on the wet tire compound.
Yeah, I
But
don't know
Brian
if
Coxon with a 15-second stop. Kudos to his pit crew.
51. We're getting Nicholas Calaguru has a 15x drive through. He still has to serve, so he'll be coming in soon. I want to see. There's no time you can see. Can't see if they stayed on tires or not. Tire compound. No, there's no tire
It doesn't
change
say
at
if they
all.
switched or not. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
maybe
I would
something right in,
assume.
something
I
right in
really,
the
I
SD
don't
cam.
know. I know.
I mean,
If we could have it all.
we've got a nice list for SDK, but we'll take our wins when we can.
Right.
So Hubbard, Walker, and Calgary, those three drivers are the sole drivers to venture onto the dries. Uh, looking at
They
laps,
are.
Sam Hubbard's still putting out a one. His last lap was a 2:36. I'm not sure if that was with a pit or not. He pit on lap 20, so he pit on lap 20. His last lap was a 2:30. He's losing 30 seconds to these guys.
Yeah, that probably includes the spin. Thanks, Dan. Is that Dan or Dustin Reinstedel? Can't quite tell.
That's
Looks
Dangish.
like Dan. Thanks, Dan.
I have to tell Dustin he's got to pick a different FedEx car.
Right.
60. So Sam Hubbard has a drive-through. He got a 15x with probably, I'm assuming, with that spin. So he's gonna have to come in. So Sam Hubbard had himself a great start of the race, and then kind of lost his way with, I'm assuming, some sort of accident. We didn't get to see. It was off camera. Hard to get back to the replay for how far back it was. So he tried to venture onto the dries, try some brave and heroic like Walker did. Didn't serve him very well. Now he's in the pits.
Logan Boyle looking up at Jason Phillips, last year's season champion. We're coming up on 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the race. Logan Boyle did a half spin. Bowl did a half spin earlier and has worked his way back up to P12. He has the purple lap, 157.9.
Wasn't Jason Phillips down? And he was down 20. He started P20. Look his way back up to 11th. And with that, next to Kevin Mayer, it's gonna give him the best the best come through. Kevin Mayer just lost a spot to Walker McNaughton as he's making his pit stop. Kevin Mayer also going out on dry tires. Good luck, Kevin. As we got a spinner right in front of these guys. An orange car. I don't know who that was. That was a Mercedes Benz. Not sure who was right in front of these guys who crashed. Might have been Mauricio Prado, because he's lost 10 spots from his start.
Is it?
No, it was after this.
Oh,
It was
sorry.
in the it was in the turn 4.
Come on.
Yeah, they came out of turn 3 and went to turn 4, and there was a car that was in the grass. It might have been Mauricio Prado because he has now hit the pits. Not sure if he just did not sure if he did a tow.
Yeah.
Should we come up to here? They're gonna make this left-hand turn. You're gonna see an orange car nosing into the wall.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Sorry, Mauricio. We're going to find out exactly what happened here. Little lull in the moment in the racing while we're down to our last 10 minutes. And I can't find him.
He's in the pits and he's out of car right now. So I'm assuming he's called it a night because he's not. He's probably towing actually.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before, more than once. He's losing it going in. Easy to do. Into the barrier, and he's calling it a night, or at least stop to pit. Repairs. Dave McNeely.
Catching up. He is
This might
caught.
be the difference in tires, new tires and old tires. Brian Coxon's 15-second stop saved him 3 seconds, but is he paying for it now as we have 7 minutes left in the race?
Yeah, Mauricio has retired from the race, so he's gonna fall back down the field. He's called it a night. Came out here and tried his best in Navarro, and Navarro has been fighting a lot of our drives tonight. Where I don't know if the last time I've seen a red lit up board as much as I've seen tonight. Almost makes it feel like it's a truck race.
Almost.
All right, last 7 minutes. I'm assuming we're going to have this lap plus maybe 3 more. Because I'm assuming the clock's going to strike 0 at the end of one of these laps, or just as they cross the finish line, they're going to strike 0. But just shy of 2-minute laps. And we're halfway through a lap, and they're going to get a 0 timer and do one more after that. So we might have 4 laps left here total. If I'm Shea McNeely, I am just biding my time. I want to be the guy that puts it in on somebody else, not have it get put on me. Think it wasn't trash talking before? I guarantee these guys are talking right now.
Yes. Yes, you read my mind. I wonder if there's somebody's reaching over to hit somebody's power strip or unplug one of their monitors or something.
Good news. Don't we talk to the top 3 finishers?
We could. Yep, I'm
There
in.
you go.
You'd hand the microphone right over.
Taylor Montague has gotten hit with a 15x drive-through, so he's going to come in and serve his time. Taylor's sitting down in P19 at the moment. Right now we have 15 of our 33 drivers on the lead lap. And Francis Faustino is the next person that these guys should be coming to. You might be able to catch him. He is approximately 7 to 8 seconds up. As Brian takes a nice wide turn in turn 15. Shea thinks about it, decides he'll live it up to another day. Oh, who's that?
Biding his time. I agree with you, Aaron. I think Shea McNeely, your pole sitter, is just playing games with Brian. Doesn't want to risk it. 2.5, maybe 3 laps left from here. We're still in turns 3 now. Yeah, Brian Coxon's all over him on corner exit. I gotta believe Shea's all over Brian Coxon. I gotta believe Shea and Michael Odell took tires and Brian decided not to. After the warm-up period now, Shea McNeely in the blue and white Porsche behind Brian Coxon's McLaren. Shea McNeely has the tire advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, he might have taken fronts because I know you can't take 4 tires and that little bit of fuel. It's not going to equate to 15, 17, 18 seconds. So I'm assuming he might have taken fronts just because of how much wear is in the front with all these 90s and 180s. As you can just see how much easier Shea is able to hold the inside corner. I just saw Brian watching a little bit more wide, getting that oversteer. I mean,
This
this shows
is
you
the
can
race
see it
for the
right
lead.
there. This is it.
Oops.
Riding on board with Brian Coxon. And I got Shea
Now
McNeely
Shea.
looking up. Definitely got a much drier track now. I tell you what's hard about these McLarens is it is really hard to see those brake lights. They did not get justice with that hollow, like the halo design that they have. It makes it really hard. You got a lot of the cars of Porsche that have really big, bulky brake lights. You can see no problem. And then you got this McLaren with this hollowed out scheme that's really hard to see.
Right in the tire tracks. Coxon pulling away this time. He got a better exit out of turn 16.
Yep. So coming up to, I'm assuming it's gonna be about 3 laps now with this
This
lap
one and one
counting.
more, I think. I think they're going to have this one and one more. They just went
Yeah.
across a 2-minute lap. They'll leave them 1 minute to finish their last lap.
So
So
did
what?
they?
Coming to the white. We're coming to the
Yeah.
white.
Okay, I didn't know if it went. I didn't know if it after 0 struck, then they went to 1 to go after they crossed the line again. I'm thinking like I know from my
Outdoor
background.
motocross. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking outdoor motocross. Once you cross the line and strike the thing hit 0, then you have 1 more to go next time you cross. I'm getting clarification right now. 51 to be DQ'd from the session for 2 minute incidents. That would be Nicholas Calgrew receiving, I believe
Oh,
it's 30x.
I'm not surprised. Calgary is known to be aggressive. Probably some
And
car contact, some wall contact. You never know, but he's fast. He could learn to control his speed. He might finish a little higher, but it's all good. Right now, we're watching these guys come to the white. This is the race for the lead. We'll do a quick race recap. Brian Coxon and Logan Boyle were on the front row. No, I'm sorry. Shea McNeely and Logan Boyle were on the front row. Shea McNeely pulled out. A big gap. Brian Coxon got around. Shea McNeely was leading by about 3 seconds. He got tied up with a lap traffic right just at the worst possible time. No intention, of course. And Shea McNeely almost came to a complete stop. That allowed him to go from first to fifth. Shea McNeely has worked his way all the way back up to P2 now, right on the leader's tail as we come across and take the white. Barney is waving the white flag with all the aggression that he can. This is the final lap of the GT4 Series race at Navarro. Brian Coxon leads Shea McNeely. Who's it going to be?
oh, I root for Brian. I've raced with both these guys on a 24-hour Daytona race this season, so I know they're both fast and they're both very similar in speed. But I think I definitely want to be in Shay's seat right now.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind leading from the front. You make that McLaren really, really wide. But I'd say this bodes well for a great GT4 season.
Watch for the 25 coming to turn 15. I think he's going to take a wide entry and cut it down really hard and try to put as much of that power down as he can when T. Coxon, he's going to try to take away that inside line and hope that he doesn't wash out as much as Shea wants him to. Oh,
Here he goes.
The brake check there.
Thanks, Dustin, for letting him by. Time is running out. This is the final lap. Brian Coxon.
There's one dive. Let's turn 13. Oh, here it is, turn 15. So, oh no, it wasn't. I'm wrong. That's turn 13. Coming to 14, 15. This is the last 2 chances. Shay's gonna have one more good chance here. So
Final chance.
Hope that Brian's gonna take the shorter line. Brian goes out wide too. Thinks better of it.
Dive. Can he make it happen? Coming to the line. This is it. Checkered flag is out. Brian Coxon takes the win at Circuit Navarro to start this season off.
Wow, that was good. Brian decided to take the outside line, knowing that Shay was gonna want to do that. Brian Coxon taking your opening win, coming down to the amateur class. If I'm not mistaken, that's
Yes.
old Denny Hamlin himself,
Yes.
Dustin Reinsettle.
Say it ain't so.
Dustin
The
going to get
man
himself.
of the hour.
He finished already. He got himself a victory here in amateurs. in front of Dan Gish, Justin Shoup, Nicholas Aston, Ronald Calabite.
Yep.
That's gonna be a tongue tie for me.
Let's see if he'll fill out a fun facts form for us sooner or later.
Jason Phillips. What was he? If I'm not mistaken, that's the big mover of the race, coming from P20 up to 11th. So with I'll take that for that being your not favorite track and on wet conditions when you first race in that car. I'd take a P11 any day. He can come back from that. I think these guys still racing it out.
They might be trying to flash up the results. It might be too early. They're not quite ready yet. Car's still wrapping it up, coming across the line to finish. But we know who the winner is. Jay McNeely. And the winner, Brian Coxon.
Let me see if I can find
See
him.
some donuts here, I hope. He can take it off TC, or is he just pulling over to go back to the pits? Got to come up to the interview booth. No donuts, not this time.
Let's see. Do you want to go with you go with Dustin Rhinestone? I mean, we'll check with him, see if he's good.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'll message him.
And as soon as the results are up, I'll let you read it. I'm going to look for Shay.
Oh, you mean Brian?
Why do I keep saying Shay? Brian won. Let's talk to Brian. Who wants to talk to second place? Not me.
All right, I'll be right
Got
back.
him.
Go find him.
All right. Sounds great. What a great race to wrap up this first round. The Midwest Motorsports GT4 Series, Season 7. Incredible race. In the top three for all 60 minutes. Top four there until the pit stop. But your race winner is Brian Coxon. Hey, Brian, it's James and Aaron in the booth. You got us?
I believe so. You guys got me.
Loud and clear, Brian. Congratulations on a great race, man. One heck of a race. Tell us through it from your side.
Kind of chaotic. I luckily one of the sessions that I think CJ put up last night was very similar conditions to this, and that definitely helped. It was basically that medium rain that it was at the start of the race, and then by the end of the race it was a bit drier, but it was pretty crazy. I know Michael was right behind me and always made me he went for a couple moves and it always made me a bit nervous just because the rain is so scary. And then Shay had one incident, I forget exactly what it was, that I ended up getting to the lead, and then from there I was just able to stay ahead.
Coming up on a lap car, Jay McNeely had about a 2-second lead, and then coming up on a lapper, almost came to a complete stop, went from first to fifth. But you were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
After a good fight with Michael Odell, he was on your bumper for the first half of that race.
Yeah, no, I think he was at the pit stop, and then I think in the pits I got a couple seconds on him, and then I think I pulled a couple more away after the stop. But no, him, I think it was Daniels, and I think it was Hubbard as well, were sticking with us in kind of a pack there.
Yeah, it was great racing. What was it like when the track was drying?
To a degree nicer. It's just so much more calm, and I think the fact that I had a decent lead on third, it was just me and Shay, I wasn't too worried if I ended up getting second. I felt I could relax a little more. It definitely made it a bit more scary because there's a couple corners like the last one where if you turn in a bit too early, you catch the water and you just lose any braking capability for a second, and then you're automatically going deep. There was a few corners like that. And it's definitely interesting. I was thinking, like, is it going to be worth going to dries? And I think dries would have been worth it in the last, like, 5 minutes. But overall, I just stuck with the same tires, the same wets, and it ended up working out.
And at the pit stop, I saw you took about a 3-second less stop than, thank you, Josh, 3-second less in the pits than Michael Odell and Shay. Did you take no tires and maybe they took 2?
I don't think Shay took any. I don't know about Michael. I did not take any tires, which luckily the tires were actually pretty cool. I expected them to be getting pretty hot since the track was drying and the wet tires really overheat in that, but they didn't get too bad. And I think I might have just gotten the fuel a bit closer, but I think we all overfueled because in the rain you just use less fuel. So we were expecting, I at least was expecting to use more in the second stint, and just didn't use that much, and I think we all overfueled a little and
Nice.
took a bit less.
Well, that's a great way to start off the season. Congrats on a great win at Circuit Navarro. 16 races this season. I know it's early to talk about the season, but what are we looking forward to as we go to the next race?
More good racing. I think Watkins Glen also has a rain chance. So that'll be interesting if that also ends up being a rainy one. But yeah, the rain definitely mixes things up, and it's fun when you can get a bit of practice for it. It makes for a good race.
Well, it was a great race. Aaron, you got anything for Brian?
Yeah, you said you don't know if Shay took tires now. Why don't you just reach back and ask him? You guys
He-
still roomies?
Actually, we are not in the same room anymore. We're in the same apartment, but I moved downstairs because one of our roommates moved out. So he's upstairs now, so I could hear his wheel shaking the floor above me, but I do not know.
Well, make sure you keep that broomstick handy. You can just
Hey,
bash
did you
him
take
from
tires?
bash him from underneath.
He did not take tires. I just asked him.
I'll say you should
No.
keep a broomstick underneath. You can hit the ceiling above you when
Yeah.
you get too loud.
Yes, or if he crashes into me, I'll just punch the ceiling. You know.
There you go.
Well, good race
Or
tonight,
flip,
Brian.
flip the breaker on the upstairs power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good racing for both you guys tonight. James was rooting for you. I was saying I'd rather be in Shay's feet when coming to the last lap because I saw you took away that outside line in the last turn, which I watched you a couple turns before. You're taking more of the inside line. You were kind of washing out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if Shay's paying attention to that, he's going to try to take a wide entry and cut it down shorter. But you took that opportunity away from him, and I think you caught him off guard as well.
Yeah, the dry line's out there, and you oddly have more grip on that outside line. You can kind of see it, and that was one of the ones where if you turn too early or go to the inside, you hit a bunch of water and get loose.
Well, congrats to you, my man. You started off the season with a win. Looking forward to much more racing with you and Shay especially, and wish you luck for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it.
That's your winner overall and the leader in the Pro Series points after race one. Brian Coxon with the win. We also have the AM winner.
Checker flag, got him.
Dustin Reinstedtle's in the house. We need to take him off of mute. There he is. Dustin, great racing, man, in the rain, from the wet to the dry to 33 cars. What was it like out there, Dustin? Congrats on your first race win.
Well, this is certainly not Friday or Sunday.
Hey, right? Little
That was
different.
a lot different than I thought it was going to be. They talked me into not starting from the pits because I have a notorious history of getting like fourth or fifth and starting from the pits every race. So they talked me into it, and I just kind of let everybody go. And then I finally got in a routine, and then I spun out. And then I was like, all right, books out the window. We'll just drive. And it ended up working out. I'm not sure what everybody else did on their pit strategy, but I know I just took enough fuel to get to the end. I was kind of trying to ask for advice because I'd never been in that point in my road series career of being able to short somebody on a pit stop. So it was pretty fun. Really exciting, and still got lapped, so I'm still kind of aggravated about it, but it's all good. I got to see that great finish between Brian and Shay firsthand, so pretty cool. Watch those guys on the last lap. But yeah, it was really fun. The rain is different, and I was about to switch the dry tires, and then I was told it probably wasn't a good idea yet. And then I watched everybody else that had switched kind of spinning out. So I'm pretty glad that I got to see that, because if not, I would have been right there with them. I thought it was right at the point where you could do it right at the end of the race.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
your synchronized spin there with Aslan.
Oh yeah, that was great. I think, and Dan spun like on the next corner, or he spun right before we got there. So that bunched the entire AM guys. We were all right there right before the pit stop, so that was pretty cool. Made it exciting right at the end.
Yeah, man. I mean, we saw a couple people try to brave it. Sam Hubbard went out there and or first Walker went out there and dries and didn't serve him too well. And then Sam Hubbard did the same thing, and then they both got drive-throughs. And at that point, they were just like, "Yeah, I don't think so." I'm like,
I did hear Walker key up and say it was definitely not time for slicks yet, so I'm glad he shared that with everybody else.
Yeah, well, congrats to you, man. We've been waiting for you to get up here in the AM win, and you start off your season nice and strong. not a huge gap in points wise. These guys, the top 4 of you guys finished all within the same position of each other. So it's a good start though. You got to win, and looking forward to seeing you back here racing with you on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Hey, Watkins Glen, you got a little bit of experience on that track. Chance of rain out there too, probably a little bit less chance of rain, but the Mercedes, you gonna get some practice in?
You know, I kind of like driving in the rain. It's really hard to see in traffic, but it honestly, what I struggle in these GT4s is braking deep enough in the corner because I'm used to that. On the oval side, you have to brake for, 400 feet before the corner. Like you can't really throw them in the corner like these. And with the rain, it actually kind of played a little more into my braking tendencies that I have. So I wasn't too big of a hater. At first, I thought it was going to be wild, but it really wasn't too crazy out there once everybody got in the line. So Watkins Glen, I mean, let it pour, right?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
know the
buddy.
track. We know it from all the truck racing and the fun racing and the cup cars, so it's a very familiar track, especially to you, being here one of the longer guys in this series in the league. Look forward to walking Glen next week.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Congrats. Congrats,
Thanks,
Dustin.
guys.
Congrats on your first road win.
Woo!
GT4, Dustin
Denny
Reinsettle.
can't do that. He can't win
That's
in a
right.
GT4.
He's not a road racer. But Dustin Reinsettle, you are. Congratulations on a great win for Dustin Reinsettle. And the AM side, Aaron, we saw one heck of a race today, man. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Thank you for joining me, Aaron. What are your final thoughts before we cut it loose?
Man, 32 drivers, and I know we have a bunch more that are lined up in the Discord, so we'll see if we can get some more people out here racing next week, as they should all be familiar with that track, and we'll see if we can get ourselves a 40 class field.
I like it.
I like it
I
too.
like it. Well, that's it. That's a wrap. I'm James J. And that's Aaron Holroyd for Josh Watt running the production on the live stream and all the Midwest Motorsports admins that make this great league possible. Go to midwest-motorsports.com, find out which series is best for you, and come join us. It's always free and always open to new entries. www.midwest-motorsports.com. Aaron Holroyd, I'm James J. reminding you to stay in your lane.
You too.